Before we dive into today's story, I wanted to take a quick moment to talk about this channel. We're a community dedicated to respectfully remembering the victims and uncovering the facts behind true crime cases and unsolved disappearances. If you value this approach and want to support respectful storytelling, becoming a subscriber is the best way to never miss an update. If you find our work meaningful, leaving a like helps immensely in bringing these important stories to a wider audience. In the comments, we encourage you to share messages of remembrance for the victims or thoughts on why it is important to keep these cases alive. Let's keep the discussion respectful and focused on the facts. Your support is what allows me to continue this work with the care and dedication it deserves. Now, let's get into the case. On the afternoon of Tuesday, the 15th of June 2021, 5-year-old Summer Moon, Utah Wells vanished from her family's home on Ben Hill Road in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County, Tennessee. The rural property, set in a rugged wooded hollow, was home to Summer, her parents, Donald and Candace Bly, and her 3 older brothers, according to the initial account provided by her mother, Candace Bly. Summer was last seen around 5:30 p.m. Candace reported she had been outside with Summer and the boys, planting flowers near the family's porch. She stated she went inside the house for only a few minutes, and when she returned, Summer was gone. The family immediately searched the immediate area, a challenging task given the steep, forested terrain and numerous old structures and cisterns on the property. When they could not find her, they called 911 at approximately 6:30 p.m., triggering one of the most extensive and complex child disappearance investigations in Tennessee's recent history. The response was swift and massive. The Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, SUCSO, arrived on scene and, recognizing the severity, quickly requested aid from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, BB, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Within hours, the quiet hollow was transformed into a major search and rescue operation. Dozens of professional searchers, K-9 units, ATV teams, and volunteers from multiple agencies scoured the dense woods, steep ravines, and waterways around the Wells property. The TBI issued an endangered child alert, disseminating Summer's description and her last known clothing, a pink shirt and gray shorts. The FBI deployed its Child Abduction Rapid Deployment CARD team, underscoring the national priority of the case. As night fell on the 15th of June, search teams used thermal imaging and night vision equipment, but found no trace of the little girl. The initial theory focused on the possibility that Summer had simply wandered off and become lost in the unforgiving Appalachian terrain, a scenario that framed the first desperate days of the search. As the physical search continued unabated for days and then weeks, the investigation by the TBI and FBI delved deeper into the circumstances surrounding Summer's disappearance. Investigators conducted lengthy interviews with the Wells family, neighbors, and anyone who had contact with them. Almost immediately, inconsistencies began to emerge in the family's account of the timeline and events of the 15th of June. While the initial report stated Summer vanished while planting flowers, later statements introduced new details about trips to a local swimming hole and a neighbor's house earlier that day. The timeline became a focal point for investigators trying to establish a definitive last known sighting. Public attention also turned toward the family's background. Donald and Candace Bly had a history with Tennessee's Department of Children's Services, DCS. In the weeks following Summer's disappearance, it was revealed that the 3 older Wells boys had been removed from the home and placed into state custody. Authorities stated this was due to concerns about the children's welfare in the home environment, not as a direct result of Summer's case, but the development cast a shadow and intensified public scrutiny. The TBI was careful to state that the parents were being treated as witnesses, not suspects, but the scrutiny was intense. Meanwhile, the search evolved. Sonar was used to check bodies of water. Cadaver dogs were brought in, and specific areas on the property were excavated based on data and dog alerts. Despite these immense efforts, no clothing, no footprints, and no definitive sign of Summer was found. The theory of a simple wandering began to strain against the lack of evidence, and investigators publicly shifted their language, stating they were exploring all possibilities, including abduction. With no physical evidence and a stagnant ground search, the investigation entered a phase of analyzing tips and exploring theoretical scenarios. The TBI received thousands of leads, each meticulously vetted. Several prominent theories took hold in the public and investigative discourse. The wandered-off theory remained, but the lack of any trace made it increasingly unlikely to seasoned search. Managers familiar with the area's stop lines, like roads and creeks. The abduction theory gained traction. Could someone have been lying in wait in the remote hollow? Was it a targeted or opportunistic crime? The remote location made a stranger abduction seem logistically challenging, but not impossible. A third, darker theory involved parental involvement or a tragic accident within the home. Fueled by the timeline inconsistencies and the removal of the other children, investigators never publicly endorsed this, but it persisted in public speculation. Several specific leads captured national attention, only to be resolved as dead ends. A truck driver's reported sighting of a girl matching Summer's description with a woman at a gas station led to a multi-state search for the vehicle, which was eventually located and cleared. Another tip about a buried silo on the property prompted another excavation, revealing nothing. The Wells family participated in media interviews, sometimes offering conflicting statements, which further complicated the public narrative. Donald Wells made emotional pleas for Summer's return, while also engaging in confrontational exchanges online. As months passed with no breakthrough, the active ground search was scaled back, though the investigation remained open and active. The case settled into a painful limbo, characteristic of the most baffling missing child cases. No body, no crime scene, no suspect, and a family at the center of an unsolved storm. Years have now passed since Summer Wells disappeared, and the case remains a cold, active file with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. In periodic updates, the TBI states the investigation is ongoing, with agents still assigned to follow up on any credible leads. The family home on Ben Hill Road has been searched multiple times with ever more sophisticated technology. The Wells boys remain in state custody. Donald and Candace Bly have, at times, been critical of the investigation. While law enforcement has reiterated its commitment to finding Summer, appealing to the public for any piece of information, no matter how small it may seem. The emotional toll on the family and the rural Beech Creek community is profound and ongoing. Without closure, grief is frozen in time. Vigils are held on anniversaries, and the community's collective memory holds the image of the little girl with strawberry blonde hair. The case also sparked broader discussions about the challenges of missing children cases in remote, impoverished areas, and the media's role in portraying families in crisis. For investigators, the lack of evidence is itself a type of evidence, a haunting vacuum where a child should be. It suggests either a meticulously concealed crime or a set of circumstances so rare that they left no recoverable trace. The FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit likely provided profiles, and forensic experts have analyzed every piece of data, but the break has not come. Summer Wells' case is a stark example of how, in the modern age with vast resources, a child can still vanish from their own yard, seemingly into thin air, leaving behind a mystery that defies easy answers and a family trapped in an endless search for truth. Summer Wells' face has become one of the most recognizable among America's missing children, featured on digital billboards, milk cartons, and social media campaigns. Her disappearance has had a lasting impact, reinforcing protocols for rapid response in rural child disappearances and highlighting the crucial role of the FBI's CARD team. It has also demonstrated the double-edged sword of the true crime community's attention. While it can generate tips and maintain pressure, it can also lead to rampant, harmful speculation and the harassment of grieving families. The core mystery endures. Every possible avenue has been explored. Massive ground searches, water searches, forensic analysis of the home, vetting of registered sex offenders in the area, and deep dives into family history. Yet, the result is the same: silence. The most likely scenarios remain the same as they were in the first week. A lost child whose remains the dense forest has not yielded. An abduction so clean it left no forensic footprint, or a domestic tragedy hidden with terrible effectiveness. For now, Summer Wells is still a missing 5-year-old. The hope for resolution, whether it brings the peace of recovery or the justice of an arrest, keeps the case alive in the files of the TBI and in the hearts of those who remember her. Until new evidence emerges, her story remains an open wound on the map of Hawkins County, a reminder that some vanishings defy all logic and effort, leaving only questions echoing in the Tennessee hollows. As we conclude today's story, let's once again remember the lives affected. If you found this exploration meaningful and want to support respectful storytelling about real cases, please consider leaving a like. It helps more than you know. To stay updated with our deep dives into unresolved histories, hit that subscribe button, and in the comments below, feel free to share a thought in memory or why you believe remembering these stories matters. Thank you for watching and for being a part of this thoughtful community.